Hey folks, Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very important video which is about NSDL IPO. I'm sure many people are really keen to know about this because this stock was also available in the unlisted space and I am sure many of you might have tried your hands at that. And if you want to know about what has happened with the pricing, have a look at a news article which I'm going to show you right now. NSDL IPO price band set at 760 to 800 per share, 22% discount to its grey market premium. Oh god, grey market valuation basically. Okay. And now if you see one more terrible point here, you can see here that this share of NSDL was at a recent peak of 1275 rupees on June 12th, 2025. Last month it was at 1275 and the price band that it has come up with is 760 to 800 per share. So this was just a quick reminder for all those people who get really excited with unlisted space. Be careful. This is the second time back to back in a row because the previous one I'm sure you are still, it's fresh in your mind, HDB. Same thing had happened that it was available in the unlisted space at a higher price. Ultimately, it came up with an IPO at a lower price. Also remember that when you are investing in through the unlisted space, you have a lock-in period of 6 months. So anyone who applies during the IPO or for the IPO, there is no lock-in period as well. So there are one or two more advantages as well, right? Now with that, let us get started with some very basics as to what does the company do. So we'll start with absolute basics. What does the company do? It's a SEBI registered market infrastructure institution and India's first depository operational since 1996. Just in case if you're not sure about what a depository does, basically depository is like a huge cupboard is what you can imagine. Okay, a cupboard where your electronic shares can be stored, but a huge cupboard which has different compartments. Okay, you can imagine one compartment is equal to one account and you have an access to one account, right? So your shares get uh, get stored in with the depository through a demat account. Okay, simple till here. Yes. So I'm sure you already know about this. This is the first depository, which is the second one, CDSL. There are only two depositories, and that is why I say that this entire depository business in India is a duopoly business. Two major players, NSDL, CDSL. Okay. Now, what does this company do? Three major core segments. First one is depository services. I just did talk about that. It's about demat account opening and maintenance. Second, it's also about transaction processing. So I'm sure whenever you check your contract note, you will see depository charges as well. Many times you'll see that on the contract note. So whenever there is a settlement that takes place, so whenever you sell the shares, what happens essentially is that shares will be taken out from your demat account through the depository. They'll be taken out from your account and they'll be settled into whose account? Into the buyer's account, into his or her own demat account. It will go to the depository. Okay. Third thing, along with that, corporate actions are also included in depository services. Simple example here could be dividend or bonus. And if you're not sure about what is the connection, understand if a company says that we were to declare a bonus in the ratio of 1:1, how will the company understand that how much shares Rachana has or any other shareholder has? Who is going to give them a record? Record is going to be given by depository. Okay. So any corporate action, depository gets involved. Okay. So I hope you have very clearly understood about some examples about depository services. Along with that, they also have some subsidiary services, NPBL, NSDL ka payment bank. And you're like, oh really? Like I'm sure you might have heard about Airtel Payments Bank, Paytm Payment Bank. But what is this NSDL Payment Bank? Like any other payment bank. I hope you also know about this, that payment banks cannot give loans or they can't issue credit cards. But like any other normal bank, so just to give you an example, let's say they'll have, okay, I'll just do this. They'll have their virtual debit card. You can set an auto pay. You can get your account statement. Acha, we'll start with this actually. This is a better one to start. You can open a savings account. Okay. Once you open a savings account, you can transfer funds. You can do bill payments. What you can do is you can select bank accounts, whatever saving account. You can see a premium saving account, classic saving account, la la la. Okay, recharges, virtual, la la la. Okay, so I hope you have understood this, that they also have a proper payments bank and through which also they earn quite a bit of revenue. How much revenue and all that we are going to understand about that in the next section. But as of now, I hope this entire business segment is clear. National Payment NSDL ka payments bank. Third one is NDML, that is NSDL ka Database Management Limited. NSDL Database Management Limited, what do they do? Multiple, again, services, e-governance, SEZ online, KYC registration agency, insurance repository. So just to give you an example of insurance repository, let's say you open, you get yourself insured and the policy that you get, it could be in a physical format or in a demat format. If it's in the demat format, This is where it will go in the insurance repository. Okay. Third thing, they also have different value-added services, something like e-voting. So whenever a company wants to go ahead with e-voting, again, depository would get involved here. But this would go under the value-added services, API-based digital platforms, blockchains-based bond covenant monitoring platform, and all that. Okay. But if you want to understand that which out of these services holds real importance, is it depository services, which is like very important, or is it subsidiary service, or is it the value-added service? Where should I give importance? Now, for that, you need to understand how much is the revenue split, how much is the profit split, and exactly that's what we're going to cover in the next section of the video. Now, before I talk about the split, just a gentle reminder, a quick reminder that you are learning a lot of things, but if you want to upskill yourself further, we do have different courses. Even though you are a beginner or you are an intermediate student or an advanced student, we have got you covered with all different types of courses. Anyone who already knows the basics, and if you want to answer the questions like which share to buy and when to buy, when to sell, for that, these two are a must learn courses, something like fundamental analysis, technical analysis. Many people ask me that if we have already done these courses, then what is the advanced level for that? For fundamental analysis, art of value investing could be an advanced version, and for technical analysis, decoding price action analysis is like an advanced version course. So please don't forget to enroll in any of the course which you feel is relevant. If you're not sure that which course is the most relevant for you, we also have a contact us option, and you can see here, you can just drop a WhatsApp on 9022196678, and my team will definitely get back to you. All right. So with that, let's get to our revenue by segments section. You can see our majority of the revenue comes from banking services, not from depository services. I know this is something very shocking because everyone knows NSDL as a depository, but majority of the revenue doesn't come from depository. It comes from banking services, which is 50.69%. Second highest is depository with 43.56%. Database management is barely 5.75%. So nothing really material. But then if you're like, I mean, seriously, why did we not know about this? Because still this is not much relevant for the company. I will be like 50% of the revenue, and it's not much relevant. Why? Let's understand how much profit does it contribute to. Now, for that, I've just taken up a simple tabular format. Out of the total profit that the company earns, banking brings in 1.08% profitability, whereas depository brings in 91.32% of the profitability. Okay, so obviously, though revenue ke liye, depository is contributing 43.5%, profit contribution is 91%, and though banking services are contributing 50.69% of the total revenue, only 1% of the total profit is what banking services are contributing. Okay. Now let's also move on with the industry analysis. Overall, I hope everyone knows NSDL is the largest depository in terms of overall number of demat accounts. Plus, I also mentioned about this, it's a duopoly, it's a high entry barrier category. So good for the company, obviously. Total clients grew at 27.4% CAGR between 2017 to 2025. This was a massive growth, 27.4% CAGR. Why? Look at the years, 2017 to 2025, and we had COVID years in between, because of which everyone knows, right? Many of you might have started your journey during COVID. So that is where the number of demat accounts actually went off the roof, and that is the reason why CAGR is extremely higher. But even going forward, financial year 25 to 27, it is expected that these accounts, total client accounts, will grow at a good enough pace of 11 to 12% CAGR. Now, talking about CDSL, NSDL, who has a bigger market share. If I'm talking about NSDL, up to 2020, they were having 81.6% market share. CDSL only 18% market share. And if you check here, in 2021, what happened? From 18% directly to almost 31%. And NSDL dropping from 81.5% to 69.09%. Huge drop, massive drop. What happened? How did it go from 81.5% to 64% and from 18% to 35% within 2 years? This is COVID time, and I'm sure everyone knows about the story. A growth in discount brokers was crazy thanks to influencers like me. We were also talking a lot about how discount brokers are really doing a good job. They are offering services, basic brokerage services at a very competitive rate. And you might be like, okay, Rachana, understood. What is the connection between brokerage or discount brokers and CDSL and NSDL? Very strong connection. And what is that? If you see here, Zerodha, Grow, Upstocks, Angel One, all Paytm Money, all these are discount brokers, and none of them are having their partnership with NSDL for their depository services. All of them have a partnership with CDSL, and obviously with a massive growth in these accounts, obviously CDSL was, I mean, it was ought to benefit, right? But if I'm talking about other full service brokers, it's only ICICI Direct which has only NSDL via ICICI Bank, but others offer both, be it CDSL, NSDL. Of course, many of them also have NSDL as a default option that you can see, primarily NSDL also. So the logic is also clear how COVID boosted number of accounts. Many went to discount brokers, and because of it, CDSL saw a massive rise. Now, with things normalizing, maybe it will be the difference might not be that massive, right? Everyone knows about these basic points. It's nothing like very, I mean, nothing very brainy per se. Rising capital market participation is going to be beneficial for depositories. Favorable demographics, majority, everyone knows that India is a young country, and with young country, people are going to earn more. More earning is equal to more saving. More saving is equal to people are going to invest more. So I hope all in all, industry analysis points are clear, barring one final point that I would want to add, which is about the PAT margins of the industry. If you see here for CDSL, it has been like a bumpy ride, 43%, 44%, 37%, and then 51, and then 54, and then now to 46. Whereas NSDL has been more or less steady from 36%, 37%, jumped to 45% because there was a big base here, I mean base effect here. But still, if you see here now, 42.96 is almost 43%, 43% to 45% is the range in which we can see the PAT margins for NSDL. But you'll be like, Rachana, why only two players in the entire industry analysis? Because there are only two players in this industry. Now, moving ahead with the financials, to be honest, nothing to complain about the financials. You can see here revenue from operations, steady growth from 10,000 millions to 12,000 million to 14,000 millions. I'm going to just round it off, okay? If you see here, PAT, again, steady increase from 2,300 to 2,700 to 3,400, all in millions. And even if you say EPS, it's growing very nicely, 11.74 to 13.77 to 17.16. So, I mean, it's all good, right? If you see, net worth has also steadily increased from 14,000 millions to 16,000 million to 20,000 millions. And all in all, one of the best part, total borrowing, you can see here, it's zero throughout, correct? Revenue CAGR at 17.88%, good enough. Profit 3-year CAGR at 20.88%, again, good enough. So, as I mentioned, nothing to complain about the financials. If you see here about the operating profit margins, now something again very interesting coming up here. Operating profit margins at 23.95%, correct? But out of that, where are the key operating profit margins coming from? From the depository services at 50.21% and banks operating profit margin is at 0.51%. Okay, consolidated PAT margin from the overall, I mean at overall level 22.35%. Only NSDL at 43.97%, and if I'm talking about the bank, it's 0.26%. And ultimately for ROE at 17.11%, for NSDL it's 17.78%, and NPBL at 1.26%. So all in all, I hope it's very fit into your mind that depository is contributing largely to the profitability. Payment bank is barely contributing anything to the profitability. Any risks? Yes, there are regulatory risks. They have received multiple show cause notices from SEBI, also involved in an ED linked money laundering case. So, should be aware about all these risks. Is there a profitability dependency? Yes, because majority of their profit, 91% of the profit comes from depository related business. So, if the overall market, goes in a bearish phase, goes in a dull phase, in that case, company's performance overall may be a little bit slow. So there is a profit dependency on overall market conditions. And of course, subsidiary challenges are there about the regulatory hurdles. Majority of their activities are SEBI regulated. So if SEBI decides something, it can be a direct risk for the company. Pending litigations, yes, there are some pending litigations, but normal direct tax, indirect tax litigations, I mean, these are kind of normal, nothing serious is what I felt. If I'm talking about valuation and peers, now again, something interesting here. If you see your overall revenue for the company, NSDL, is at 15,351 million. For CDSL, it is 12,000 million. But wait, if I'm talking only about depository revenue, out of 15,000, roughly, I think we said 46% is coming from depository services, right? So even if I don't take exact 46%, my maths is not that great. If I take 50%, 15,000 round off, 50% will come to around 7,500 million. That will be the revenue from depository services. Whereas if I'm talking about CDSL, out of roughly rounded off again, 12,000 million rupees. As far as remember, 75% of the revenue comes from depository services. So 75% of 12,000 comes to 9,000 million rupees. Okay, so 9,000 million versus 7,500 million. So if I'm talking pure play depository revenue, in that case also CDSL has a slight higher revenue only in depository services. Okay, if you check EPS, CDSL has better EPS as compared to NSDL. If you check about overall PAT, CDSL PAT is better than NSDL PAT. Where is CDSL leading? Sorry, where is NSDL leading? NSDL net worth is higher as compared to CDSL. And if I'm talking about the overall NAV also, NAV for NSDL is higher as compared to CDSL. But if I'm talking also about the PE ratio, PE ratio for CDSL is higher. So obviously, as compared to CDSL, I can say NSDL PE ratio is okay, is at 46.63. So like we say, right, it's not very, it's not valued at a premium, it's valued at a discount as compared to its peers. But of course, a lot of other factors also play in for the valuation. What about the IPO details? One bad part, it's 100% offer for sale. Whatever money is collected, none of that goes to the company. You can see your offer for sale is pura 4,011 crore rupees, 0 crores ka fresh issue. So that breaks my heart. I feel bad when it's 100% OFS. At least I feel something should go to the company. That's how the company can use this money for bigger, better plans. But anyways, that's what it is. 100% OFS. So I hope whatever you needed to know about this entire company, this is absolutely clear. If you have any other doubts, please let me know in the comment section. I hope overall you found a lot of value in today's video. We did start with what does the company do. We did talk about some key pointers about the market share of NSDL versus CDSL. We talked about the industry analysis, financials, peer comparison, valuation, risk, so many points we talked about, IPO details. So if you did find a value in today's video, please don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye. You might have come across such advertisements on various social media platforms. Please note, all of these are fraudsters promising unbelievable returns through stock tips. I don't provide any calls or advisory services. I provide only educational content through my social media handles and through my website rachanaranade.com and rachanaranade.in.